How's it going, guys? Kyle Masters here, and I'm sure you're all aware of what transpired last night in the Undertaker Roman Reigns match, and that is Undertaker's last match. And if you don't know already, Undertaker is my favorite wrestler, and since day one, since I first started watching wrestling, he's my childhood favorite, and to see him go was very emotional for me last night. And before we start the show off, I just want to pay a special tribute to the dead man, and with the hashtag thank you Taker and all that you've done for this company and making my childhood wrestling something I'll never forget. So before we start this episode, I just want to say thank you, Undertaker. On this episode of the Sunday Night Heat, I review WrestleMania 33 in its entirety, and I also got a bit of news for you guys out there, ladies and gentlemen. News about the Hardys, news about Jim Ross, and The Undertaker's future, what is in store for him. All this right here on the Sunday Night Heat. How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sunday Night Heat WrestleMania 33 review right here on the Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, your Canadian-based WWE podcast that reviews and discusses about the WWE and no holds barred anything we say, pun intended. You can follow us on Twitter at No Holds Barred WP and follow us on YouTube, iTunes, and Spreaker, where this is being recorded right now, offline for you guys. I am your host, the self-proclaimed greatest host, Kyle Masters, and I'm alone doing the review today. Decided to do a special Sunday Night Heat episode for you guys and review WrestleMania. Corpus Cappy's thoughts. He told me his thoughts before I do the show, and he doesn't know if he could review it. He said he didn't really like it last night. He wasn't a fan. I mean, it's tough for him seeing his girls go 0-2 last night. I know it's a lot, really hard for a fan like that, but he's on the fence with me. It wasn't. It's like basically, if I had to say and sum it up for you guys, it was like a 5-hour episode of Monday Night Raw, like a really good episode of Monday Night Raw for 5 hours. And it wasn't, nothing a lot felt WrestleMania to me or Corporate Cap. That's just our opinion. You guys definitely have yours out there, and I'll get to that also in the show. I asked you guys what was your favorite match, so we'll get into that too. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with some news. So before we get into the show, guys, I'm going to start with, I've received some news today, and I was reading all over Twitter. A lot of news came out of today, and of course it should after the day after WrestleMania. Everyone wants to know what's going on with certain people. So, I'm going to let you guys in, fill you guys in what I've heard and what I've read today. So, first bit of news, Jim Ross, commentated the Undertaker match last night. Versus Roman Reigns. Awesome, man. I love JR. JR is probably one of the best commentators in the world. I think everyone can agree with that. But by God, Jim Ross is officially back with the WWE. He signed a 2-year contract. And I got some details about that, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Ross has signed a 2-year contract, and it's almost like a Brock Lesnar contract. He signed a 2-year deal, and he has selected dates. So he's going to have selected dates to do certain matches, but it looks like we're going to see a lot more of Jim Ross in the next 2 years, ladies and gentlemen. That is awesome. Good to hear. I don't think it has anything to do with Mauro Ranallo right now. Maybe it's also a security thing in case Ranallo's mental health does get out of hand more. They have a fallback with Jim Ross. I would love to hear him on SmackDown. That would make SmackDown a lot more better, too. But I'm so glad for Jim Ross coming back to the company after a long hiatus and is on a 2-year selected dates deal. And that is great news right there for Jim Ross. So thank you, Jim Ross, for coming back to the company you once were loved by all fans for, and definitely a GOAT in the wrestling industry in terms of commentary. Next bit of news is have to do with NXT TakeOver, and the next NXT TakeOver event has been announced. This weekend, we brought up the status of certain NXT future dates for Takeover, and it was said the next date, Triple H tweeted it out today, will be Chicago, Saturday, May 20th, the night before Backlash. So that's the next Takeover event. Interesting, before a SmackDown pay-per-view. That's very, very interesting. It'll be Saturday, May 20th at 10. Sorry, I said that the ticket's on sale, but NXT Chicago Takeover Chicago will be on Saturday, May 20th, the night before Backlash. That is the next Takeover event. It's already a month away. That's going to be very interesting to see what happens with that. Maybe we get some falling out from this Takeover Orlando. Probably going to get a rematch with Asuka and Amber Moon. I think we're going to see something like that, or maybe some added women. We'll see. And it's going to be interesting to see with the call-ups. And speaking of call-ups, that's the other bit of news I have here for NXT call-ups. This weekend's Wrestling Observer Radio brought up the status of a number of NXT stars who competed at NXT TakeOver Orlando event and when they could possibly be called up to the main roster. It is noted that although they don't know what brand they would be debuting on, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ty Dillinger, and Andrade Cien Almas will be getting called up soon. It is also mentioned that the Revival could be also called up, but it is not confirmed. Additionally, it was noted that despite the loser leaving NXT match to Kashizono last week on the show, the Drifter Elias Sampson may not be getting called up yet after getting kicked off of NXT. Sampson has been working under masks, including in a dark matches at TakeOver under the name El Vagabundo. Not sure if I'm saying that right, or neither do I care because I'm not a fan of Elias Sampson. Sorry for your fans out there that do like Elias Sampson. I'm just not a fan. Next bit of news has to do with the Hardy Boys. Observer Radio that Dave Meltzer's Observer Radio said that the Hardy Boys' return to the WWE was kept under wraps as the brothers did not arrive at Camping World Stadium until very late into the show. Jeff Hardy was said to have told people that their hotel, presumably after their broken tailgate party in Orlando, that he was beat up and needed to rest from the ladder match against the Young Bucks at ROH Supercard of Honor the night before. Although it was reported earlier in the day that WWE marked vehicles were spotted near the broken tailgate party, the return was heavily speculated on, but there weren't any major details that leaked guaranteeing to their appearance on the show. The two of them hosted their broken tailgate party a few miles from Camping World Stadium. The tailgate event ran until 5 p.m., which is when WrestleMania officially begun. The two of them were taken to their hotel where WrestleMania was beginning, and they didn't go to the stadium until hours after the show began. I guess Jeff Hardy was legitimately hurting a lot from the night before. In case you didn't know, Matt and Jeff Hardy did compete in a very grueling ladder match, if you don't know. It was the night before, and on Ring of Honor's, I guess their kind of WrestleMania kind of thing. The ladder match is intense. Probably really good indie style ladder match. I don't think anything like that you'd see in WWE. I don't know if WWE would ever take that risk. But Jeff Hardy told fans in the lobby of the hotel he was waiting for him that he needed to go rest in his room. Instead of going to the room for a nap, he made his way to the stadium alongside Matt for WrestleMania. So Jeff Hardy banged up, really banged up, still made the trip to WrestleMania and competed in the match and won the title. So I think that's pretty cool that they showed up and even hurting, and now they are the Raw Tag Team Champions and have shaken up the Raw division on in the tag team division on Raw. So I'm actually enjoyed that the Hardys returned. I went out of my seat in the movie theater I was watching it in, and so the whole theater exploded. I think it's going to be a major change for the Raw tag team division. I don't know how they're going to use the Hardys, so we'll see tonight on Monday Night Raw. So let's get into the WrestleMania review. So I got all the news out of the way there, guys, and we'll get into some news about WrestleMania. So I'll review the card. And we'll start off with the pre-show. And the first pre-show match was the Cruiserweight Championship between Neville and Austin Aries. This match lasted about 15 minutes. We actually got a 15-minute match from the Cruiserweights. Funny, we had to wait till WrestleMania to see a 15-minute match out of these guys. And it was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. A lot of good spots by Austin Aries and Neville. A lot of close finishes. We saw a lot of aerial finishes, which we like to see out of the Cruiserweight division. And they definitely put on a show for us at WrestleMania. It was definitely a dark horse match, and it lived up to expectations. I think this should have been on the main card. They definitely got screwed over in the pre-show by putting this match in the pre-show. I think it would have done really well on the main card in a good way to showcase. They want to showcase 205 Live and get more people into it. I don't think putting them on the first match of the pre-show was the way to do it, Vince McMahon. Okay? So, besides all that, really, really good match. I love the finish. I love the way Neville won, dirty, poking and jabbing at that injured eye of Austin Aries and hitting the red arrow for the finisher. So, good on Neville for retaining the Cruiserweight Championship. I did pick Austin Aries. It's a shame. I actually thought he would win the title here, but maybe they have bigger plans for Austin Aries in the Cruiserweight division and the Cruiserweight title. Maybe he'll lose. Maybe Neville will lose it tonight on Raw or 205 Live this week. So we'll see. Next pre-show match, we had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and there were 33 men in this one. Critiqued a lot about this match. I critiqued a lot, and it had to do with the beginning of the match. A lot of people were pissed off. I saw on Twitter, and you have the right to be. Big Show and Braun Strowman were completely fucking useless. They did nothing to bring any hype to this Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and they had a build this week on Raw. Last week on Raw, sorry. They had a build for this match, and they both got eliminated within the first 3 minutes of the goddamn match. Unbelievable, especially Big Show. He did nothing. What was the point of Big Show and all these rumors of him having his last match and him doing absolutely nothing? I literally don't think this is his last match. This is definitely a troll job, probably an April Fool's joke. Big Show ain't done. You're not getting to the best shape of his life just to come to the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, retire, and actually do nothing. I don't believe this is Big Show's last match. As for Braun Strowman, he did eliminate a lot of people, but come on, man. Like, it's just a shitty showing, and I thought he was going to be at least in the last 4. Guy gets eliminated like 3 minutes in. Terrible. I didn't like the way they booked this, and I honestly thought after that it was going to be Sami Zayn, and we get Sami Zayn not winning later on in the match, and I'm like, okay, what the hell is going on? Now we got Mojo Rawley, Jinder Mahal, that guy from NXT, I always forget his name, but he's really good. He's from Sanity. When it came down to Mojo and Jinder Mahal, I'm like, seriously? Like, I know they built up Mojo really bad on SmackDown, and I had a gut feeling that they might make Mojo win, and then they ended up doing it. And they even had the spots with Rob Gronkowski. We all know why, because him and Mojo are best friends, and Gronk has said multiple times that after he's done with football, he wants to do a WWE run, which is, it's fine with me. The guy's huge. Do you see how tall he was? I didn't know I knew Gronkowski was huge, but I didn't know he was that tall. And he's in good shape, so I don't know. Maybe if he worked on his ring technique a little more and goes to the Performance Center and does well, then whatever. Rob Gronkowski can come to WWE. I don't care. Team up with Mojo, do whatever you got to do. But Mojo wins Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal by eliminating Jinder Mahal. And this match lasted about 14 minutes. So whatever. It is what it is. Good for Mojo. And something to build off him for the future with him on SmackDown, or if he gets traded to Raw in the upcoming draft. And we got a surprise pre-show match, which actually surprised and pissed a lot of people off, and also pissed me off because I agree, it threw away any prestige you gave to the IC title, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's backstage heat or something going on with these guys, but for one, they didn't have a build on SmackDown this week. They're absent, and now their match gets bumped to the pre-show with no stipulation. I don't know. It was weird. They only got an 11-minute match, and Dean Ambrose and Baron Corbin, it was okay. Again, nothing was WrestleMania about it. It literally just felt like they had a good match on a SmackDown on a normal Tuesday night, and I know it's in the pre-show of WrestleMania, but you got to put on a show here, man. I don't agree with them going out there, and I don't agree with when people say that, they're giving all this creative freedom, they're allowed to do what they want, it's their fault that they don't put on a good show. Well, no, I don't think so. I honestly don't think I can sit here and say that they get all the creative freedom in the world to do whatever they want in the ring. I definitely think wrestlers are held back with a lot of things, but I don't know. It made the IC title feel like a piece of shit by putting it in the pre-show match. I don't know. It to me, I don't agree with it, but whatever. They put it, it is what it is. And another thing I don't agree with is Dean Ambrose retaining, because to me, this would have been the perfect spot for Baron Corbin to win the Intercontinental Championship. You want to build this guy into your future top heel of SmackDown and a future world champion. He's got to stay credible, even at WrestleMania. This would have been the perfect time. 1 year, he wins Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. The very next year, he wins the IC Championship. That's a perfect build for a guy to be a top heel and a top guy in the main event. But now you just ruined all of that. There's, again, the whole thing of WrestleMania last night was missed opportunities. It was hashtag missed opportunities galore last night at WrestleMania. Me and Corporate Cappy pointed that out, and a lot of things here, which I will mention here in the review. But right here is number one, missed opportunity for Baron Corbin to win the IC Championship. I think that would have been the smarter booking, but you know what? Vince likes to do what he likes to do, and we can't really complain about it. Just got to go along with it, and it is what it is. Like I said, Dean Ambrose retains the Intercontinental Championship with the Dirty Deeds, and we're moving on. Off to the main card, and we open with a surprise match. Honestly, we all thought in the movie theater that it was either going to be the tag team match to open the show, or it was going to be the Intercontinental Championship, which happened in the pre-show. So I'm like, okay, it's definitely the tag team match. But no, we actually open with AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. And no stipulation, nothing added to this match. It was booked as a normal match, which is interesting, very interesting, because Shane is never really in a normal match. But you know what? I gave Shane in this match a lot of criticism before, and I'm probably going to get flack for saying this and saying and I'm going to get a lot of told you so's, but this match was good. I'm telling you guys right now, this match, I enjoyed this match. It went for about 20 minutes long, and I was impressed what Shane brought to the table a little bit. I know that Styles did make him, you guys got to admit, Styles did make him look good in a lot of things. But Shane did prove his worth here. He pulled some shit off that I didn't think he still could do. I didn't think he could still do coast to coast. I mean, I know he's in good shape, but man, the guy's old. I don't know if he's I don't know a lot of people that can pull that move off, especially what he did in the middle of the match. He pulled off a shooting star press and then took the bump of landing right on the mat. He didn't even land on Styles. So, man, for Shane to do that, it's incredible. I don't know a lot of people that can do a shooting star press clean like that. And it just the overall match was incredible. I did a lot of good spots. They had a table spot, and I really enjoyed this. They had the whole referee getting knocked out thing, and I liked it. And then eventually Styles wins, which made me happy. I thought that this was probably one of the smartest things they could have done tonight. They actually did a couple more smart things, but this is one of them right here. Having Styles go over on Shane McMahon, and they had a good match. I'll admit it. I really expected this match to be lackluster and terrible, and probably like 5 to 10 minutes long because the build was so good. But I thought the match was going to be bad. But you know what? Both were good, and you know what? Good on WWE for doing this. But I think AJ Styles does deserve a normal feud going forward from this, maybe even a title shot, because the guy deserves so much more. I hope next year at WrestleMania he gets a title match or a good opponent enough to have a WrestleMania style kind of match. No pun intended there. We move on. We had the Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho for the United States Championship. I was really looking forward to this and really excited to this. I love the whole build with this feud, starting from the Festival of Friendship, or even before that when they were best friends, and Jericho helping Owens keep winning the title and keeping the title around his waist, and clarifying themselves as both the Universal Champion. And then when Chris Jericho won the United States Championship, they clarified themselves as both United States and Universal Champion. And the whole thing with a split up at the Festival of Friendship, and even the promo package has got me even more hype for this. And I was really excited to see this. And they lived up. They lived it up. I like this match. There's little slow parts at times, but you know what? They did a really good job. This was a really good and well-done match. It's smart booking to have Kevin Owens go over on Chris Jericho here and win the title. It was a smart move. We all know what's going on with Chris Jericho, him going on tour with Fozzy, so he's going to have to drop the title eventually. A lot of people thought he would drop the title on Raw the next night, which is tonight. But you know what? I'm glad Kevin Owens won it here because I'd rather him win it at WrestleMania. It means more, and it makes the title look better. See, they make the United States Championship look better than the IC title tonight, or last night. So very interesting. I thought very interesting that they did that, and I really like the match. Kevin Owens winning, my boy. I can't say anything more than I love that Kevin Owens winning a title match, and I'm probably gonna have to get that plaque now. There's another $150 down the drain. Well, not down the drain, but you know, for us in Canada that have to order a WWE shop, it's really a pain in the ass. So whatever, it's my boy. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to get the Matt Relic one too. So you know what, WWE shop, just take my goddamn money and give me my plaque. So move on. The Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way Elimination match, and definitely lived up to what I thought it was going to be, a shit fest. I did not like this match. A lot of people out there liked it. I didn't like it. It was terribly done, terribly booked. I knew Nia Jax was going to get pinned first here. I thought maybe it's a surprise factor they would do Charlotte, but they did Nia Jax. I definitely called that. But it's just this match, it sucked. It was only 12 minutes long. Okay, it wasn't that long. I expected it to be longer. And they made the final two Bayley and Charlotte. It should have been Sasha and Bayley. How do you have Sasha Banks have two of the most incredible entrances ever and build her up so much the last 2 years of WrestleMania and have her buried? Last year, she got buried as in Ric Flair holding her back and then like holding her to not break up the pin. And then this year, she gets eliminated second. Really? Really? Again, missed opportunity. They could have had a Bayley and a Bayley and Sasha Banks stare down here. The crowd would have finally woke up and stopped being freaking crickets like there were a lot of times last night. And it could have been a really good match. And you could finally have seen Sasha Banks turn heel. Maybe Bayley beats Sasha Banks and then she attacks her after. Or maybe on the next day on Raw, Sasha Banks attacks Bayley, which I think is going to happen tonight for some reason. And they're going to build a feud off that. But I don't know. I got really pissed off that Banks lost early, and my boy Corporate Cappy, he left the theater. He walked out of the theater. I know he went to a bathroom break, but he walked out of the theater when Sasha Banks lost. He was really pissed off, and I don't blame him. The match sucked. It sucked. It was lackluster. I didn't like it. Terrible booking, and we're gonna move on. I'm going to move on to something incredible, and I don't care if this match is only like 11 minutes long. This was probably the one of the highlights of the night, and everyone agrees. It was supposed to be triple threat tag team ladder match for the Raw Tag Team Championships, but right before the match starts, the New Day come out. And I'm going, oh no. And then when I see them all in the ring gear and their shirts off, I'm like, of course they put themselves in the fucking match. I knew they can't just be the host, man. They gotta wrestle. And I'm like, this is just so typical. And then they come out and they're like literally slowly building it. I'm like, oh my god, no way. No way that the WWE just signed the Hardys. There's no way they did. We're going to get them on like Raw the next day, or it's just going to be like a whole April Fool's joke with WWE. Like, we're not going to get the Hardys at all. And then when they finally say, like, they do the whole hoo, hoo, hoo thing, they kind of step back and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And the Hardys' old theme hits. And I kid you not, ladies and gentlemen, our theater exploded. We all went freaking nuts, man. I don't even care that it was the old Hardy's theme and Jeff Hardy was back to his old gimmick, but Matt Hardy was broken 100%. People were like, oh no, he's not broken. He didn't look broke. Yeah, he was. He's doing the whole yes thing, man. He was broken. They did the delete thing. They did all the antics of being broken. I loved it. I think it's just WWE's way of kind of sticking it to TNA. They're going to keep this Hardy Boys gimmick while still being broken. I don't know what's going to go on with that legal-wise. I think we're just going to have to wait to see what happens tonight. But it was incredible. Such a huge WrestleMania moment. And it was actually a good one. Not like a WrestleMania moment where like some old-ass guy like Sting or Scott Hall or Kevin Nash comes back. No, this was actually a great moment, and it was definitely well-deserved for the Hardys to come back to the WWE. And this was a great ladder match. This was insane. So many good spots here. We had the Jeff Hardy, the nutbag that he is, gets the biggest ladder that the WWE owns, and then has Cesaro and Sheamus laid down. And I think they had the wrong ladder for Sheamus because I think he was supposed to go through the ladder too, and it never broke. But fucking Jeff Hardy does a leg drop. This guy is like 39 years old doing this, ladies and gentlemen. 39! And he's still able to do this crap, man. He was banged up from Ring of Honor last night. Or the night before, and he's still able to do that, man. I give it to Jeff Hardy, man. I give props to him. I know Corporate Cappy won't because he hates Jeff Hardy, but I give him serious props, man, for being banged up and still being able to do that and still putting his body on the line to do that. What an incredible spot. And then Matt Hardy going up and grabbing the title belt. And the Hardys come back and win the Tag Team Championships. And the expedition of gold is complete by winning Mick Mahon's Tag Team Championships and rendering them obsolete. Yes, I just pulled it, Matt Hardy, for you guys, ladies and gentlemen. That really took a lot out of me there, but I was marking out huge here. I loved it. Definitely one of the highlights for WrestleMania last night, and I truly enjoyed it. And I think they deserve it. I really enjoyed the Hardys winning here. I didn't care. I would have loved the club to still retain, but the Hardys winning here was definitely a smart booking. One of the rarest ones from last night here. So we're going to move on. And we got the mixed tag team match. John Cena, Nikki Bella, The Miz, Maurice. I was really looking forward to this. So looking forward to it because the build was so good. They even showed the promo package before. And I know they left out a lot of things, but it was still... I was still looking forward to it, and it was only 10 minutes like I expected it to be. And I know Maurice barely wrestled because she can't wrestle. That's why they kept her out of it. And then they mostly had The Miz and John Cena. The best part of this whole thing was the crowd. The crowd was freaking. They were all on Miz's side, giving him such a huge reaction, like he was like this top star. Man, it was awesome. I was dying in my seat. I couldn't believe it. You know what? The Miz deserves it, man. You think about The Miz does deserve it. He did a lot to put into this feud, and you know what? And we got the typical finish with the double Cena move and the double finisher with Nikki Bella, and it was great. And then we get the proposal after that. Everyone was on the fence if it was going to happen or not. We actually got the proposal. John Cena being as cute as hell, man. And And bringing up that surgery story and then proposing to her in the ring. I congratulate them. Respects and props to John Cena, man, and Nikki Bella. Hopefully they're happy and have a good future together. But as for Nikki Bella, I heard that she's actually almost about to retire, man. Her neck is banged up really bad and doesn't know if she can go on with her career. Maybe she just turns up into a part-timer, maybe more of a part-timer than John Cena. But John Cena's coming back. He's going to go film his movies, and then he'll be back on SmackDown. So respect to both these teams. Respect to The Miz and Maurice for putting up with that shit. But good match. I really enjoyed this, and definitely one of the highlights for me at WrestleMania, surprisingly. So we move on to the non-sanctioned match, and holy crap, man, this was the longest match on the card. This was like 25 minutes, and it was well worth it. You know what? A lot of people gave this match shit. I'm giving this match some props here. I love this match. Seth Rollins, Triple H freaking put it out on the line here. Even Stephanie, she took a table spot. I know she's not. I could say, and I sat there and I could say that Stephanie doesn't take a lot of spots. I totally forgot last year she took a spear from Roman Reigns, but she took a table spot. She went through a freaking table, so I'm giving her props for that. But I love this match. I enjoyed it. They played a lot to Rollins' knee injury, and I'm telling you guys right now, this is a work. This is probably the biggest work in WWE history. They're probably gonna come out and say that Seth Rollins is still hurt or something like bullshit like that tonight. But I like this match. I really enjoyed it, and the way they finished it off, I thought it was really cool, and I still wish they would have pulled off a curb stomp at least. I was really hoping for something like that, but even if they didn't, I enjoyed this match, and good for Seth Rollins and Triple H not bearing the shield at WrestleMania. But all Triple H needs to do is face Dean Ambrose next year, and he's going to face all three members of the Shield and lose to them. So we'll see what happens. But good on for Seth Rollins. Next, we had the WWE Championship, and this is another match I didn't like, unfortunately, because I really was looking forward to this. The feud for this has been the second best feud going into WrestleMania. I enjoyed everything. The production level was over the top, as I've said before. What the fuck was this match, guys? 10 minutes long. That's it for a WWE Championship? You made this belt look like shit for once. And two, what the? Okay, a lot of people, okay, you can go on Twitter and say, oh my god, the CGI thing was sick, it added to the match, made it creepy, yada, 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 yada. No, I hated that CGI bullshit. You didn't need that. It literally didn't affect Randy Orton whatsoever. He stood there. It's like, oh, okay. So why have it happen 3 times in the match if it doesn't affect him? I don't fucking get that shit, man. I literally didn't need it. I know it added to the creepiness of the match and the whole feud, but I honestly think they didn't need it. They could have done so much more with this match. I was extremely disappointed, and disappointing in the end. Why does Randy Orton need to win the championship? Didn't he want to put Bray Wyatt over here? Wasn't that the original intent, to put Bray Wyatt over? What the hell happened? Randy Orton does not need to be the WWE champion. I hope that changes this week on SmackDown. We get a new champion, because that is complete bullshit. Way to bury Bray Wyatt. You just lost any hope in making him the next, what is it called? The next face of fear. He's 0-3 at WrestleManias. His first 3 WrestleManias, he's lost. He's gotten buried at each one of them. Unfreaking believable, dude. I can't believe they made him lose. I can't believe they made him lose. He's lost. Oh my god. He deserved to win this at WrestleMania. This was so bad. I can't even talk more about it, man. I can't. I'm just at a loss for words here, and I don't agree with it. You guys can say what you want on Twitter and let me know, but I don't agree with it. I think Bray Wyatt should have retained here. We'll move on, and we can quickly talk about this match. I think I can talk under the match time. It was 4 minutes, 45 seconds for you guys that want to know. But Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg for the Universal Championship. And we all thought it was going to be a quick 30 seconds. It wasn't, but again, it was more of a typical WWE. We know that Brock Lesnar was going to win. They literally did like 4 or 5 moves total in this match. There was a German suplex, there was an F5, there was a spear, a jackhammer, and and that's it. Was that it? Was there only 4 moves in this entire match? 4 minutes long. Garbage. Complete garbage. I don't care. I could give 2 shits about this match. That shouldn't have been for the title in the first place. This should have been Jericho and Owens for title. This match did not need a title, But great. Brock Lesnar is Universal Champion, and we're probably going to see him defend it twice in the next half a year. Unfucking believable, man. What is with putting the part-timers with titles, man? I don't get it. Hopefully someone beats Brock tonight. There's an impromptu Universal Championship match. Maybe Finn Balor wins it tonight. I'll be happy with that. Whatever. I'm just going to move on. I don't need to talk about that match. You don't need to, because who gives a shit? We move on. And the SmackDown Women's Championship is in the co-main event. A lot of people say it's a cool-down match, but did you need a real cool-down match for after Brock and Goldberg? That alone is a cool-down match. That was a cool-down match for this match. It ends up being a six-pack challenge, so it was announced on the day of WrestleMania, six-pack challenge. And I guess I was reading online that it was made a six-pack challenge because, or they didn't put the name of the match until now because they weren't sure of Naomi's status, and they called up all former divas. They were supposed to be added to this match if Naomi couldn't compete. Because Naomi could compete, it was made a six-pack challenge. So thank you, Naomi. Thank you for not making it a cringe-worthy SmackDown Women's Championship match. Thank you, God. So she gets added to the match, and this match was all right. It was only like 6 minutes long, about 6 minutes, whatever. I think we all knew Naomi was going in here winning, even though, again, WWE jumped the gun and made her win at Elimination Chamber, and she shouldn't have ever won it there. She should have won it here in her hometown of Orlando, and I didn't agree with it, but it was a decent 6-minute match. Again, like I said earlier in the show, this felt like a 5-hour Raw, or you can include SmackDown. It was nothing WrestleMania special. They had some good spots here and there, but whatever. Naomi wins, and she is now a SmackDown Women's Champion. Good for Naomi, and I hope she has a good run with it leading here after WrestleMania. I can't really say much more about that. I do want to point out that Mickie James did a really good job in this match. Definitely doesn't look like she skipped a beat, and I think she can play well into this women's division for the future. I love it. We'll move on, and really, really sad moment for me, as you heard in the beginning of the show and the tribute I gave to The Undertaker. So Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker, and it was made impromptu. It was made no holds barred. So WWE giving shout-outs to us. Me and Brandon were laughing. And Cobra Cab, we were dying. We love WWE giving props to us here. But this was longer than I expected it. So it ran about 23 minutes. And very sad, guys. As you heard in the intro, Undertaker was my childhood favorite wrestler. When I first started watching wrestling back in 2000, man, he was my number one. He was the first guy I seen. I'm like, that's the guy. That's the guy I want to cheer for. He's my favorite. I started going through all of Undertaker's previous matches and looking at his career, and he's just my favorite. He's my favorite then, he's my favorite now, and he's going to be my favorite forever. He's going to be my number one forever, and this was his last match. They brought JR back. He always said that he wants JR to call his last match. Came out for this match to commentate. And one thing I want to point out with the commentary, Cole needed to shut the hell up, man. He was like overtaking JR so much in this match, and it really pissed me off. I bet you it pissed him off too. Anyways, the match is all right, but we had like Roman Reigns dominating the whole thing. You know what? I could see it, guys. I'm gonna give Roman Reigns some credit here, and I see what WWE was trying to do, and it made sense. They want to roll with Roman Reigns being the top guy and the guy. This was the way to do it against The Undertaker. Although I don't agree, I see where they're coming from. But The Undertaker, man, it was hard to see him go. So Roman Reigns wins this match, as you all know. And Undertaker puts all his clothing back on, and he's about to leave, and he stops, comes back in the ring, and then as a sign of basically burying his character into the ground, or basically like retiring, he takes off his gloves, lays him in the middle of the mat, and takes off his jacket, folds it, puts it over his gloves, and puts a hat on top, and leaves with his entrance gear in the middle of the ring, which, if you guys don't know, signifies that Taker is done. He's leaving his character behind. Taker even breaks kayfabe here and goes over to Michelle McCool and kisses her on the head. So, I 100% think this is done for Taker. It's over. I don't agree it should have been against Roman Reigns, and I actually don't agree that Roman Reigns should have won here. I think it was a really close match and did a really good job with the match. I think Undertaker should have won and maybe gave props to Roman Reigns after. I'm still going on that, but it's really, really hard for me after. I actually was teared up. Not going to lie, guys. I'm telling you right now, I was teared up in the movie theater. Cobra Kai can vouch for me. it was hard to see him go, man. And they did the whole thing where he walked up the entranceway and he went into the ground. And dude, it was probably the hardest thing I had to see. You guys will, if you guys don't know or haven't experienced it yet, and have your favorite wrestler of like, I don't remember how old I was when I first started watching wrestling. I mean, it's almost like 10 years, I'd say, man, or even longer, of 10 plus years, finally retiring after the career he's had. Like almost 3 decades of destruction, man. Nuts, The Undertaker. Crazy what he's done for his business and this business. And he's definitely one of the GOATs, one of the greats of all times, and probably a surefire Hall of Famer for next year or maybe the year after. But The Undertaker, basically resting in peace, so to say. And that's it. Undertaker is done. So that's your WrestleMania review, guys. You know what? I'll actually sit here and say it was better than last year. Not by much. It was a little bit better than last year. There's not a lot of things they could have done better. Like me and Corporate Cappy said, it was missed opportunities galore everywhere. But you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. And you know what? I enjoyed WrestleMania. I enjoyed myself. I loved watching it in a movie theater setting. That was the first for me to watch WrestleMania in that kind of setting. I love the atmosphere. But me and Corporate Cappy want to get closer next year. We're actually planning on going next year, and we're going to try to make it work. I know money sucks, guys. Money in life really sucks. We're going to try to make it work. We've looked at some cheap ways of staying in New Orleans, and we're going to make it work. I don't care where we sit in the stadium. We could sit up in the 500s. I just want to go to WrestleMania, experience everything. It's on our bucket list, me and Corporate Cappy. We got to do it, and I think next year is going to be a really good WrestleMania. It looks like it. Not saying we don't know what's going to happen, but it kind of looks like it'll be a good WrestleMania. I can't wait to go, and I just want to go and experience that. I would love to see Undertaker face one more person, but I think this is it for him. So, if I'm giving WrestleMania a rating, there was 13 matches. I'll rate it out of 13. I'm giving I should do 10, a regular rating out of 10 like we do Raw and SmackDown. I'll give WrestleMania a 7. That's a really generous 7 because I probably would have given it a 5 out of 10. So I'm giving it a 7. So WrestleMania was okay, guys. It was enjoyable, okay? I know there's a lot of missed opportunities and missed booking, but to me, it was enjoyable. Other than that, let's get into your tweets out there. And I asked you guys out there to tweet me your thoughts or your favorite match and your I guess you can say favorite moments of last night at WrestleMania. And I'll get into your answers right now. And let's see if I can pull it up here. All right, I got it pulled up. Let's see. All right. So first set of tweets comes from Juggy Badass at Azazel YT. He was, dude, I love the Styles and Shane match, and the Hardys returning was so unreal. Hashtag delete, delete, delete. I'm going to have to get that sound clip for sure. Also, I actually really loved how they teased Goldberg winning again. It actually had me at the edge of my seat. Dude, Juggy, honestly, me and Cappy were at our edge of our seats too. When I thought Goldberg was actually, I'm like, oh my God, they're actually going to make him win again. And it was crazy. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. Styles and Shane match was actually really good. And then I'm giving it props again, guys. I know I talked about it being a piece of shit match, and I thought I was going to be the one to tell you guys so, but you guys are the ones to tell me so. I'll give you guys that. Luke Talkinson. Hardys every damn day of the week. Yes, that was an incredible moment in an incredible match. I agree with you there, Luke Talkinson. Hardys coming back. Definitely a plus for me at WrestleMania as well. Greg asked, Glorious Greg, before he tells me his answer, he asked me, what's your favorite WrestleMania match? My favorite match last night? Oof. I'm actually, guys, Styles and Shane was probably my favorite match. And it's actually in a tie with Seth and Triple H because I really like that match. So it's close, but I'm going to have to give it a tie between maybe those two. But Glorious Greg says Hardy's winning the Raw Tag Team titles and Triple H versus Seth Rollins. So I definitely agree with you there, Glorious Greg. Triple H and Seth Rollins was a really, really good match. I really enjoyed it as well. Irrelevance at Forlorn. He puts favorite match was AJ versus Shane. A close second was Seth and Triple H, so he's with me on my side. And my favorite moment was the Broken Hardys and them winning the belts. Also, Austin versus Neville. That was my third favorite match. Very good opener to the show. Love the finish. Can't wait for the rematch. Me either, Irrelevance. I can't wait for that rematch, too. These guys put on a really good show. But thank you for your answers. And we have similar likes from last night, Irrelevance. I think I have the same reaction in the same answers for Glorious Greg's question there. Next tweet, Tony Mercer. Shane versus AJ was my favorite match of the night, but the best one was definitely the Hardys coming back and winning the tag titles. Yes, I definitely agree with you. And again, a lot of people liking the Shane AJ match. I'm giving it to you guys. It was really, really good. So thank you for your tweets, Tony Mercer. Casey Salvis puts, Raw ladder match was great to see the Hardys again. Now just delete Roman Reigns. Delete, delete, delete. Yes, delete Roman Reigns, Casey. We all know your hate for Roman Reigns. We saw it last night. Colin at Gamma New One puts Hardys winning the Raw Tag Team titles hands down. There's like 3 specific spots where I think a lot of people loved last night. That's what we're gonna get here in the tweets. So Hardys is a big one as well. Next set of tweets, Michael Chow, favorite match, the match of Jericho and Owens, and I took it in. Oh man! And worst match, Cena Nikki versus Miz and Maurice. No kid Cena, you firing blanks. Right? I think they'll have a kid soon, Michael Chow. I think we're gonna get like next year. There'll be another mini Cena on the way. Michael Chow, and can we talk about the WWE fans not only give SD Live. Okay, give SmackDown Live Women's a chance off the pre-show, but into the second main event of the night. Yeah, this was all due to us, ladies and gentlemen. As much as WWE doesn't want to say it, that hashtag trended so fast and so huge that they had to move it off the pre-show. There's literally, I guarantee, the reason why. As much as WWE want to tell us it's not, it is. Michael Charles puts in missing from in WrestleMania, Samoa Joe. Seriously? Yeah, I was so surprised that Joe had nothing to do with WrestleMania last night. Literally no Seth Rollins or Triple H involvement and no Owens and Jericho involvement. I was really, really shocked we didn't see Joe last night. So maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a good sign, Chow. Maybe it's next year's WrestleMania. We're going to get a good match out of Joe, and that will be his first WrestleMania. So I know I actually agree. I actually kind of like that we didn't get to see Joe, and maybe they're building him up to something bigger. So we'll see what happens. And lastly, Michael Chow puts hashtag thank you Taker. WrestleMania will forever always be your yard. Hashtag WWE Hall of Fame 18, please. I definitely 150,000% agree with you there. I hope he's in the Hall of Fame next year. This will regardless of what Roman Reigns says, this will always be Undertaker's yard, and he's just one of the greatest of all times. Plain simple, guys. And yeah, that's it for the tweets. Thank you for your tweets out there, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely appreciate it. I'm sorry if I sound like a little down here. I'm still actually exhausted from last night. I didn't really get much of a good sleep. I'm still trying to tally the winnings for the crate for the WrestleMania Pick Your Main contest. I think I'm going to release it after Raw tonight or maybe sometime during Raw, so stay tuned for that. If not, it'll be released tomorrow on YouTube. I'm just still trying to process everything and get things together, and I also have some personal shit today at a funeral to go to, so you know what, I'm still trying to get things done, so bear with me, guys, as I get through it. And it's tough seeing Undertaker, my favorite wrestler, retire, man. It took a lot out of me. So other than that, guys, I think that's gonna do it. I think that's what I got. Yeah, that's all I got. So that is gonna do it for the Sunday Night Heat on No Holds Barred Wrestling Podcast, guys. I am your host, Kyle Masters, and that is your WrestleMania 33 review. See you next time.